Hi there and welcome to Scrap and Coffee. Today I'm going to show you how I've made this element in the Forest Love mini album. So I'm going to do that in the one that we've been working on. So it will be with a different image, but the concept is the same, so it doesn't matter what you use on it. It's just a technique that I've used. So I'm going to get this out of the way. I've already got my page 1 out of there. It's a blank larger page, and what I did is I've prepared the image that I want to use. Now if you want to do this with the image on two sides, which gives the best result I think personally, you probably gonna need a digital image or paper collection, because you want to have one image just like it is, and then the other one you're gonna mirror. So that's as you can see, I've printed and I've cut this one already, but I've printed this one. This is the original one, and then the second one I've mirrored the image and then printed it out. So I fuzzy cut around the original one, then I'm going to turn it around so it matches the mirrored one, place it on there, and what I did, because it's easiest for me, I've traced around the one that I've already cut, and then I can cut this one out as well. And then when I place them on top of each other, then I have the image on both sides. Then what I did is I've cut a large circle out of acetate 0.007. This is my largest circle die that I have, and it fits, but it's closed. So yeah, this is going to work for me, but you actually don't even need this acetate. That's optional. You can do it without if you want to. Then what I need to do is I need to make the circle in this page. Now this is my largest circle die, so I'm not going to be able, and I need it to be a little larger than this one. And even if I would decide to leave the acetate out, this hole here would not be big enough for this image. And I wasn't able to get the image smaller, so yeah, I'm going to work around it. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the circle on here and use my scan and cut to cut out the circle for me. And you can use your Cricut or whatever you have. If you have a larger circle die, you can use your die cut machine, as long as the page fits in there. And you also have circle cutters from different brands that you could use to cut that circle in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the size of this circle. I don't know the terms in English, but the widest part is 4 1/4. So I think I'm going for 4 3/4. So I have 1/4 inch space, maybe a little less. No, I'm going for 4 3/4. That should be the widest part, so I'm using this thing. So the half of 4 3/4 is 2 3/8. Okay, I'm going to measure that out. Okay, and then I'm going to determine the center of this page. So this page was 6 1/4, so 3 1/8 is center. I'm just going to make a little mark. And again, find that mark, line it up, and then this is about my center. So I've measured this out. I'm going to poke that in that center. Keep it flat and draw the circle. Now for my scan and cut, I really need to make it quite dark for it to recognize it and for it to cut clearly. So I'm going over a couple of times. There we go. Now I'm going to place this on my scan and cut mat and have my scan and cut this out for me. And I'm also going to fuzzy cut this image so that I can place them on top of each other. Okay, this circle is cut out, and it was Not easy because my add-ons are already on here. It was quite difficult to get it through my scan and cut, but it worked by laying it as flat as I could. And yeah, but what I'm trying to say is do this, make this cut if you're going to use an electric cutting machine before you place your add-ons, making your pages. So this acetate circle is going to fit in here nicely. So that's good. I've cut out the other piece, but I need to make sure that it's all lined up. So maybe I need to make some adjustments here and there. I'm going to check that. This I probably throw away. Maybe I can use a smaller die on it, but so I'm just placing them on top of each other now. And I'm just going to see, is that lined up? Are there really large mistakes? But I think I did quite a good job actually. So I'm just going to leave that. That's fine. And then what you also need is, I have one prepared, but you're going to need two of course, but I haven't decided on the pattern paper that I'm going to place on the other side, but you're going to need a piece of pattern paper. I've got mine a hair over 6 inches by a hair over 6 inches, so for a small border. And what I am going to do is I'm going to, in my case, because I'm going to use a scan and cut, I can do it this way. I'm going to make the exact same size circle on my pattern paper and have my scan and cut it with a border, and I'm going for the second border. So I think it's something like 0.04 and then 0.08, so I'm going for that 0.08. But of course you can also draw your circle a little larger and then cut it out. Yeah, make it like 1/8 of an inch larger probably. So I'm going to prepare this as well, but I will cut it out later. So again, I need to determine the center of this piece, and like I said, it's just a hair over 6. So it's even a smaller hair over 3 is the center. You want to do this pretty exact because you want to have a nice border there. So again, I have this at 2 3/8, so my circle will be 4 3/4, and then I will cut it out a little larger than that. Again, I need to make it quite obvious, and I would rather do this on the pattern paper side, so I don't ruin my pattern paper with the sticky mat, but then it probably won't recognize the circle. So I'm going to cut this out in a minute, but first let's finish this off. So I'm going to use that acetate, but you don't have to, you can just do it like this. You're also going to need some sort of ribbon. I think this is just some crochet thread, white. You don't need a really large piece, but so if you do it without, you just place this one in between your images and then place it in between the circle. I'm going to stick it on the acetate. So I am going to stick my first piece down, and I think I want to have this one on the front, so I'm going to start on the back. That's a little bit confusing, but I don't really need to turn that around, of course. I am going to use wet glue, but I'm going to be careful and try to really keep it down on the glue amount. Okay, and then I'm just going to look for a nice placement on this acetate circle. Now, if you have an image that has a lot of flimsy pieces, then I do recommend using the acetate circle just to make it a little bit more firm. If you have a quite solid image, then you could definitely do without. You can always do without, but it's just a little bit, yeah, more fragile. Okay, so that's on there. And now I am going to have this one here, of course. So I'm just eyeballing it, that it's centered. And I'm going to use some double-sided tape to keep that in place. And of course you don't want to place your tape outside the image. Try to burnish that in place. And I just remove the tape backing now so I don't forget. And then I'm going to glue this one on top, again using my wet glue, but try to keep it down a little bit. Okay, and now carefully I'm going to line it up as good as I can. And be careful because you do have that double-sided tape in the middle, so I think I'm going quite okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Nice. Don't burnish too hard with the glue because you don't want to smoosh that on your acetate. See, I have a little bit of a fragile point here where the thread is coming out, but will be okay. So now I'm going to place this as centered as I can in between the cardstock circle. And in my original album, my thread is pretty loose, so you want to have it quite tight. And I had the little wooden beads in there, so I think I don't have enough space now to do it, but then you just place the bead. Now maybe you want to knot it so it doesn't go out of place, and then you stick it down. So you can just add something right now if you want to, but in this case I'm not going to. Maybe it's too long again. So when you stick this down, you really want to make sure that you don't go too close to your edges. So I'm just going to start on the top. You want to stay away from your circle edge and from the top edge, so you can hide that with your pattern paper. Burnish that down. And then I'm going to pull on this one to make it somewhat tight and keep it straight. And now I can place my pattern paper on top and hide that construction there. But first I need to cut that circle out, so I will do that. So that circle is cut out of my pattern paper, so we can attach that to the page. And I'm just checking, see that I have a little bit of double-sided tape showing there, so I might try to remove that a little bit further. And I'm going to cut down the thread because I don't want to see that, of course. So that will be fine. And I'm just going to use some wet glue for attaching it. So I'm going around the outside perimeter and I'm going around the circle. And I'm just carefully going to place that. Try to get it as centered as I can, but you know, there might be a little flaw in there. So you have a little bit more of a border on top than on the bottom. Yeah, that happens. Okay, so this is what it will look like. And it can spin. So you're going to do the same thing with your pattern paper on the other side, of course, but I haven't decided on it yet what I'm going to do. So that's done, but we do need to finish some other stuff in the book. For example, I measured that page for here, page 5. I was going to do a pocket on the back side because we changed that up. We made this on the inside of the page instead of on the outside of the page, and then so I made this pocket, but I forgot to adjust it with that 1/8 of an inch. So this will go on the front inside cover, and I've made a new pocket that we can fit in here. Of course, the measurement in the cutting guide is the right measurement for that pocket on page 5. So I'm going to get that out, lay it flat. And then I'm going to place it from the outside edge, and then we have that little bit of spacing there. So I just adjust that measurement by 1/8 of an inch, so we don't get in trouble. There we go. So that's on there, and then there was also the page in the middle where I was thinking about doing something more, but I'm going to leave it. The page number 4. That I will just leave there. Then we have our vellum pocket that I didn't finish yet, and I tried to look for something that was going with the collection, but it's pretty hard. But then I came across some stones that how do you call them? I had this left over from some kind of diamond painting, and I just put all these together in a bag, and I just kept it. And actually those colors go pretty well with this paper collection, so I'm going to try it. I don't know if it's gonna look good, but it's about what you need to do. So remember, we made that vellum pocket where it's still open here, and I'm just going to place some of those thingies, I don't know what to call them, in here. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then we can fold this over to close that up so they're not able to come out. And then I have a piece of pattern paper, and this is going on page number 2. We attach this there, and we attached a shoulder flap there, and it's going on the outside of the shoulder flap. So again, I'm taking it out. It's page number 2. So this will fit on here, and I've got some pattern paper to size. It's the same pattern that I used earlier. And what I can do is, I need to check if it fits, or I need to cut it a little shorter, but you can slide this behind those 3 1/2-inch flaps of the vellum pocket, and then we can attach this all at once on there. Like that. Yep. So what I will be doing is place some, and it's a little bit bulky now with those things in there, but that's okay. Where's my tape? I'll put it back. I'm going to tape up the 1/2-inch flaps of the vellum pocket here. You can do it at forehand before you place your pattern paper, but And then the rest I will do with some wet glue. So some wet glue along the edge here. Don't need a lot more actually. So I'm placing something on there to keep it flat, and I'm starting with the pocket, aligning it with the bottom and the sides, and then try to see, I can pull this up a little bit. For a nice border. And then we have it in place. Now I can decorate this further like I did. You can place some washi tape or some pattern paper along here to define it a little bit more. But you have that pocket there. So let me see, I have scrap here. So you can place something behind there. So with this album, I'm not going to show you the whole decorating process. I'm just going to do that in my own time. And I'm going to decorate it before I'm going to attach it all together and then put it in the album. But if you want to see how you do that, you can watch the tutorials for the Flora number 3 album. I will put a link to the playlist on top. So you can watch that if you want to. Also, I've already made the cover. So I've also made the cover. Same technique as the Flora number 3 album as well. And I'm going to place a normal pocket on the front inside cover. Right there. This is the pocket that was too large for the page. So I can place that. So in this case I used ribbon again. Something that I had in my stash and coincidentally went with this paper collection. So that's for the front inside cover, and for the back inside cover I'm going to make another vellum pocket. That's my daughter. School is not starting yet here, so she's at home with me. I'm minoring the corners on the bottom. We have 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch on the side, so I'm minoring here. And then I'm cutting it at an angle towards the intersection in the middle. On both sides. It's just like we did with the small vellum pocket. It's the exact same technique. And then on the top half I'm going to cut away the score line. I'm going to cut on the inside of the score line. So when I fold it over, it will fit in between my score lines. So after scoring, this stands up a little bit, so I'm going to turn that over, and then I start folding on the large flap towards the bottom. Make sure it fits in between your score lines. And I try to follow that score line a little bit, but I didn't score it really hard, so. Burnish that carefully. And then I'm going to fold the side flaps over again first. And then I can fill this up again. I can do it right now. But I don't have any pattern paper ready for the back inside cover, so I'm not going to stick it down now, but something like that. And then fold the bottom over again to close it up. So for attaching this, I'm going to do the same thing that we just did with the smaller vellum pocket. But I haven't decided on the pattern paper. So this will go on the back inside cover. with all our pages in between. And yeah, I'm going to attach it after I've decorated. So I'm just going to decorate it, and yeah, then I will show you, of course, the end result of this album. So where I've used only 10 by 15 centimeter photos in my Forest Love album, or 6 by 4, it's almost the same measurement. I'm going to use different sizes for this album, so you can see your different opportunities for that. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then when it's finished I will show you, of course. So I will be back with a project share 2.0. So I hope you like the album and like the construction. Everything is clear. You can find the cutting guide on my website, free PDF download. And like I said before, it's the same basic construction as the Flora number 3. So if you want to mix and match between those two albums, that's also very possible. So you can create your own album from that. So for now I want to say thank you for watching, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye!